Happy Friday Eve, and welcome to another edition of the Red Zone. I hope you got your grills cranked up, maybe your favorite beverage in hand, and are ready to go along the ride for us for the next 30 minutes. We have a jam-packed show of, we're going to break down some of the biggest games that are going off tomorrow. And with that, before we get going, I've got to introduce my all-star panel. I've got this UA sign girl below me, Miss Hannah Stevens. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How are y'all?
Doing awesome, Hannah. And as always, former All-SEC DB for Alabama, current CBS analyst, Gerald Smoke Dixon. What's up, my man?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm just trying to hear the crowd roar. And Hannah, put that down. We're not on that right now.
And as always, I'm Daniel Pettey, kind of running the ones and twos and keeping these All-Stars going. If you notice, I do have on a dinosaur shirt tonight, Chubbies. This is one of your selections. If you say, why dinosaurs, Daniel? Well, I think dinosaurs roamed the last time Boston College and Mizzou were the biggest game of the weekend. I mean, we're talking Doug Flutie. But before we hop into all the madness, I do want to thank our special sponsor, one Lamstone Company. Have you ever dreamed of having beautiful natural stone in or around your home? Well, don't settle for subpar materials. Check out Lamstone Company's selection of natural stone products to meet all your project needs. Lamstone is located in Aniana, Alabama, and is one of the oldest, most trusted stone sources in the state. So contact them today and tell them we sent you by using the code TheBamaStandard, and you will get 10% off your purchase. I think that's a pretty good deal on stone. But with that said, let's hop to it. We have got a huge slate of games to break down tonight. We've already, I know Bama fans, we've done a lot of Wisconsin-Bama, so we're going to hop to some other games that we think are marquee matchups. And I think my crew have some hot takes on how they think these games may go. And like I said, I made a reference to dinosaurs. So without further ado, let's hop into that Missouri game. We got number 24, Boston College, going to Mizzou, who's ranked number 6 in the country. You're not seeing that wrong, at 11:45. What a weird time on the SEC network, no less, for this top 25 matchup. But Mizzou right now, as the lines hold it, is a 14.5-point favorite with an over/under of 53.5. Hannah, I'll start with you. How do you see this going? And then I'll move up to Smoke and see what his take is.
I'm gonna go with a very simple answer, and I'm going Boston College to win the game. I'll say this. I think what you're seeing is when the right coach goes to the right program at the right time. And I think that's exactly what O'Brien has done. I think he has inherited a program with his skill set. I think, sometimes you have a twofold thing, because sometimes you get coaches who are, for whatever reason, assistant coaches, second chance you is what Alabama was for all these, for all these coaches. But Bill O'Brien did not do a great job at Alabama. That's what a lot of people would say, but that doesn't make him a bad coach. And I think he has shown that at Boston College. And I think that they are a team that, let's just be honest. Whoever would have thought that Boston College would be in this position, right? No one imagined, well, we did, but not many people imagined that we would see Boston College stun the team who was arguing they should be in the playoff last season, game 1. Okay. For them to do that and then have a shutout last week, it's not like they barely won last week. They had a good game. They showed a lot of potential. For me, I think Boston College is a very underrated team. Not saying Missouri is not good. They are. They have fantastic players. They've got a lot of speed. Their defense is on par. But I think for me, Boston College has the momentum, but they also have a lot of underrated talent. And when you have players who have this type of motivation to now go on the road again and stun another top 25 team, I'm here for it. So very, very easy for me to say. I'm going 100% Boston College tomorrow.
Dude, hot take. Hannah is back at it. We can go back to week 1 where a couple guys laughed when she called Vanderbilt and I was all over Virginia Tech. So we'll see. I may be going hard a different direction, but I don't want to argue with Hannah right now. She's kind of hot take. Hannah's on fire. So Smoke, you see this going the same way?
Well, I'm not going to argue with Hannah about who's going to win. I'm going to let her pick it. But I'm going to give you the keys to success for both teams. Let's talk about Boston College. The key of beating Missouri. Well, we understand that Luther Bird and Theo Wise and also Theo Weiss and also Brady Cook on offense is an answer. So you have to make sure those guys can affect the game at a high level. Make Missouri run the football. Make this thing into a dirty competition. make them play on the pace that you had Florida State playing. If they want to come out and play high-powered offense, you slow this down. And you slow it down by not allowing their explosive players to create explosive plays. That's the two receivers, and make sure that the quarterback sees a picture pre-snap and post-snap to make it confusing to him. And if that's playing a ton of zone, too deep, making them throw underneath to catch the ball and tackling them, make them go for field goals and not touchdowns, and you have a true opportunity at winning. Yep. Right. Now you go to Missouri. How does Missouri win? Well, you can't allow the little quarterback, Castellanos, to affect the game as a runner. So you have to make him play within the pocket. And how do you do that? That's crowding line of scrimmage with 8 or 9 players. Load the box. Have different looks for him at the line of scrimmage to make sure that he checks into passes. You want him to pass the ball in order for them to win the game. Because if he makes it to a running competition and put himself in position to make 3rd and 5 by running extended drives, that's when he comes out in the red zone. And when you get a quarterback in the red zone, that's where they come truly effective, because they are now the 2nd or 3rd ball carrier in terms of having the ball in their hands. And that's the easiest way for them to score.
I agree.
Love it. Love it. And man, kind of to carry on with that, I think the key for Boston College success is all on the legs of Castellanos and that running game behind Robichaux and even Trayshawn Ward, who have both rushed for over 100 yards in games this year. If they can keep that potent offense of Missouri off the field, and it's not just, Theo Weiss and Burden. I mean, you've also got Marquise Johnson, who's a big play threat. Missouri is really, really deep at wide receiver for Cook to reach to. But here's I think the matchup of the game. They're calling it their death row defense in Missouri. For the first time since 1966, they haven't given up a point in the first 2 games. Now, granted, it's Buffalo and Murray State. So, I mean, you're going to get a little bit better of an offense coming to town with Castellanos and Bill O'Brien and what Boston College. I think they're putting up like 42 points a game, almost 300 yards rushing right now. So Missouri's getting their first real test. And if they can shut down that run game, I think their offense is going to prove to be too much. And with it being at home, I'm kind of believing in Missouri right now. The line's at 14.5 right now. I do think it's closer than that. I'm with Hannah. I think this is a hell of a ball game. I think Boston College is a really good football team, but with it being at home, I do think the advantage may lean a little Mizzou. But I think this is, like I said, for it to be the marquee game, it is a really good game. Take the names off. This is going to be a hell of a football game with two good coaches right now, and both programs on the rise. So, yeah.
Just remember, I'll throw this last one in because I know we got to get to the next one.
Yeah.
When Florida State scored against Boston College is when their number 1 corner went out.
Yep.
They don't have enough guys on the back end to truly match up with the skilled players for Missouri. In the perfect without inclement weather, Missouri can chunk the ball around the yard on these guys.
I will say that one thing Pettey said I want to agree with is that Missouri has not been tested so far this season. They played Buffalo last week and won 38-0. They allowed over 100 yards rushing on a team that really shouldn't have had more than 50. So, we're going to see what happens, but I just wanted to reiterate that I agree with that point that they haven't been tested. That's one reason why I think when you have an opening game of the season, cross the pond, and you play like that against Florida State, you've got my respect and they've got my confidence. I believe in them until they show me otherwise. So just go on my gut. We'll see.
Before we hop to the next game, we got to give a shout out to superfan Jimmy Clay, bringing the heat as always with the $25 super chat on this Friday night. Look, man, I'm in Tampa. We take $25 and we may be going dancing. No, just kidding. Jimmy Clay, though, man, we love you so dang much, man. The support you show this program, $25 super chat. Jimmy Clay, roll tide, roll. Let's go get us some cheese curds and beat those Badgers. All right, to the next one. Let's see, we have got, all right, next one on the slate. I think Game Day is showing up for this one, which is crazy. Number 16, LSU is headed up to Columbia, South Carolina, where if you've ever been up there or played, that place can get a little hairy. But it's a day game at 11 Central on ABC. Right now, man, this line is bouncing. It started out as LSU minus 7.5, and it's going all the way down currently to LSU minus 5.5. They don't expect it to be high scoring with the over at 48. Smoke, I'm going to let you start this one out. How do you see this game playing out? What are the keys for LSU? What are the keys for South Carolina?
Well, I think this game is only played at the line of scrimmage. So whoever controls the line of scrimmage and who can have the most effect at the line of scrimmage is going to win this game. So if you're starting out with South Carolina's keys to victory, this is where you unleash Kyle Kennard and my man from the hometown, Dylan Stewart, to get after Garrett Nussmeier and apply the pressure against Emory Jones and Will Campbell. So this is where, if you're a defensive end and a defensive tackle, this is where you stop the run and you affect the passing game by getting to that quarterback with 4, which South Carolina can do, and drop 7 in the coverage and change up that pre-snap and post-snap picture on them. I do believe that they can get pressure on them, and that's how South Carolina is going to control the game on their part. Now, when you go to LSU, when you look at them, you say, okay, how are we going to do it, LSU? Real simple. You got to control the line of scrimmage again. You have to show the college football world that you can run the ball and you can allow Garrett Nussmeier to make big throws down the field with your slide of receivers. I'm going to let Anna get to their receivers in a second because I know she's itching to get to them. But whoever controls the line of scrimmage and can keep their quarterback upright and making sure that they can control the game with 4 and cover with 7 and throw different variations of zone blitzes in there to confuse the opposite quarterback, I think that's who wins the game. So this game comes down to me at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. I mean, I agree 100%. I was really just eager to say I agree. I'll say this. For me, I have not been impressed at LSU at all this year. If it was up to me, they wouldn't be in the top 25. You lose the most important game, I think, you could have had opening game, and then you struggle against Nicholls State last week. Do you know how many yards? And I had to actually pull it back up because I was like, maybe I didn't remember this correctly. They literally had like 60-something rushing yards. LSU did. Nicholls State put over 150 yards rushing against LSU, and that's going to be the problem in South Carolina, is that it's going to be raining, okay? South Carolina is going to run the ball. That's all they have to do, and that's why I was agreeing with you, because it's going to be a line of scrimmage game. I don't think, and I'll say this too, LSU is Florida State of last year. They lost their star player. They have not been able to regain composure, regain kind of an identity, and this team's kind of slowly falling apart. And when you have an opportunity, when you lose a game like you did against USC, the following game should be a game where you come back stronger and you come back better. You don't struggle against Nicholls State. You come out and you win 56-61-0, and you say, we're a team who's going to respond in adversity in a positive way. LSU didn't show that. LSU has shown that they're on the struggle bus. South Carolina, on the other hand, is a team that no one expected to be this good. Beating Kentucky last week, yes, they struggled week 1. I understand that. But they're 2-0, and I promise you, no one thought that game day would be in South Carolina this weekend. No one did at the beginning of the season. No one thought this game was going to be a matchup because South Carolina wasn't expected to be this good. But that's what happens in the SEC. You have a team who loses their star player, and team kind of crumbles apart. I don't see LSU winning this. I have South Carolina winning. It's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a dirty game, not like the players playing dirty, but they're going to get dirty because it's going to be raining. So for me, I have South Carolina winning this, but I agree 100% with everything Smoke said, because it's going to be a ground game, and I think South Carolina has what it takes, and I don't think LSU's defensive line is going to be able to stop South Carolina's running game.
Now strong takes, and I'm really torn on this one, because here's the thing, and I think the key, we talk about LSU's running game. They did find a running game in the second half against USC with Emory, but he went down with an ACL that week in practice, and then they couldn't get anything going, which is crazy because they do feature one of the best offensive linemen in the country in Will Campbell, and you feel like they could get something going like that. So if they can't get a run game going in South Carolina, I'm with you. I do feel like they're in trouble, because it's then going to completely rely on Nussmeier and Lacy. And that's obviously his go-to guy. But I think low-key, we're getting one of the best one-on-one matchups in the entire season with Will Campbell and Dylan Stewart. If you go watch this kid's film, Stewart, he's the real deal, man. The bend. Look, I know
DMV representing the nation, baby.
Pierce gets the love, and rightfully so, for Tennessee for being one of the best defensive ends in the country. But this kid, this freshman's coming on the damn scene, and he's the real deal. And here's the deal. If LSU can get no run game going like Hannah's talked about in the last game against Nicholls State, and I don't know where they're going to find a running back for him, and this defensive end starts wreaking hell and getting to Nussmeier and getting him off his cadence, the Crow's going to start roostering up there in South Carolina. Those fans are going to get rowdy, and that's going to become it's going to become nasty for LSU real quick.
And just remember, they have two guys that can get after the passer.
Yep.
Kyle Kennard and Dylan Stewart. Both of those guys.
Both.
Dylan has 2 sacks. Kyle has 4. Both of them all together have 10 hurries. It's going to get ugly. But this is where Will Campbell and Emory Jones show that they can protect. But good on good, you always figure out who's going to be great.
Man, you know what I love about this show? I've been struggling with this pick all week, and I think after talking with you geniuses, I know where I'm headed now. But I definitely know where I'm headed before I go to this next game. Man, I'm going to Sizzler because Jimmy Clay is making it rain in this joint.
I got paid yesterday.
Jimmy Clay, I got paid yesterday. Roll Tide forever, dude. I'll roll Tide. I'll get Jimmy Clay tattooed on my chest tonight, my man. Good gracious, Jimmy. I don't have any other words, man. You are absolutely the man. We love you. Stay with us. Don't ever leave us, Jimmy. Don't ever go, buddy. Roll Tide. Let's get some cheese curds and kick some Wisconsin ass tomorrow. All right, man. We got one more before we roll into the Degenerate Minute. And this is a big one. My man Smoke has been talking behind the scenes about the implications this game could bring for one coach down in the swamp. We got Texas A&M traveling from College Station to the swamp in Gainesville, Florida, 2:30 Central ABC. Right now, Texas A&M is a 3.5-point favorite, and the over is 44.5. So again, they think points are going to be more than NFL premium in this game. Ooh, Hannah, I'm gonna let you start with this one. I know Smoke's got a lot of thoughts, and then we'll rock.
Well, I mean, I guess say the elephant in the room, you know which coach has his entire career on the line. And I'll say this. I'll say this. I think bringing in Dan Mullen was probably the worst decision Florida ever made. Because I think that it's just a very frustrating situation because Florida's program was kind of in an okay situation. It was kind of like they were kind of like average, like, they were making it to the SEC championship almost every single season. I mean, this was before Georgia, obviously, they were the beast of the East, and then they weren't, and now they haven't been. And I think what people realize is that Dan Mullen, who everyone thought was this amazing quarterback creator, just had a really good quarterback in Prescott, right? Prescott was the great player that made him a great coach. He wasn't a great coach who made him a great player. So I think he goes down to Florida and everything goes haywire and they've never recovered. And I think that this game is a must win for Florida, not only for the coaches, but also for the players, because I've never seen a program this early in a season fall apart. I mean, you can look at Snapchat, you can look at Instagram. These players are miserable. And if they don't get a win tomorrow, I'm not sure what this program is going to look like next season. I don't. Like, they may have the worst recruiting class because no one wants to play their own players out there. So for me, Texas A&M on a struggle bus as well. I mean, I'll say this too. I thought this game this week would have potentially been the game day location because I thought going into preseason that Florida and Texas A&M may be two really good teams in the SEC that we were going to see have a showdown. Now they're two of the worst teams in the SEC having a showdown, and I'm here for it. So, I mean, I'm picking Florida only because I literally think that Billy is going to take money out of his pockets and pay his players to just win this game because all he has to do is win this game. And that's a line. And the way Texas A&M played, and I'll say this too, you look at one of the biggest situations we saw last week was how Lagway played against Sanford. Incredible. I think that was one of the other decisions. They should have started with him week one. I think if they would have started with him week one, could have been a very different situation. But anyway, Smoke, you take over. But I have Florida. I'll say this. I think it's going to be winning by field goal. I don't think it's going to be a big – I mean, if Florida wins, it's going to be by a kick.
Well, I'm going to clear up a couple of things that you said that I think you wanted to say A&M, but you kept saying Florida. Just because your gut's telling you Florida. But through your conversation wasn't leaning that way.
Oh, well, no, I know. I don't want them to win, but I think they will win. And listen, if it was in College Station, no way would Florida win. The only reason they have a chance to win, I think they will win, is because they're at home. And I don't think they can afford to lose another home game.
Well, afford to be who you want to be is two different things. And you got to afford who you're going to be anyway. And I think that when you cut on the tape and you watch Florida against not Samford, but against Miami, you saw a team that lacked effort, lacked discipline, and that lacked want to. And what you just said, what social media has been saying all this time, and what you read, these kids are miserable.
Yeah.
And the only way that Billy Napier survived this weekend is your players go out there and fight for you, because this is a fight for you game.
Yep.
I don't know if they want to fight for that guy. I don't know if they want him to coach them anymore. And that's where you come to, how do you win? You win if you start DJ Lagway. And what I'm hearing is that he's not going to start. So you're going to go back with Graham Mertz. Yeah. So if you go back with him, you're saying repeatedly what you've learned and what you've seen from the only player that's giving you hope in that entire building is DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway comes out and he plays halfway decent or really good for this whole year, and you win 6 games. Yeah, you can go down and tell the AD that we have something here. But if you're going back to Old Faithful that's showing you that he can't win 6 games with, then you got to move on. So I think Billy's going down the blaze of glory by himself with his way. But the way that you win for Florida is you have to allow DJ Lagway to go out there and play like the playmaker, excitable kid that he is.
Yeah.
That's on offense, because you don't have a lot of playmakers. Wilson's the only other playmaker that you have on your offense where you can roll the ball out and say, do something with it that I haven't designed. The offensive line is not good enough to hold up against Texas A&M's rush up front and defensive ends. So you have a guy coming off concussion, sitting in the pocket that can't move, or you give it to a young, dynamic playmaker that at worst he can put his foot in the ground and go pick up some yards for you and keep that ball rolling towards the end zone.
A true freshman record last week, by the way. So
for 465 yards.
Yep.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, though, man. Is he going to be? This is a tale of two opportunities. Are you going to go down being stubborn with your guy in Mertz, or do you give it over to the 5-star kid that can possibly win your job? And when you talk about kids wanting to play, that's why I think if you start the 5-star Lagway, he's still trying to prove himself. He will play for you. You give that kid a chance, you're probably going to get your best effort from the team and from a player, and he's got the best potential to give you that chance. I'm very interested if Mertz starts, how quick the trigger is going to be there, because like you said, he's got to know he's not that big of an idiot that his job's on the line with these games. But I think it's a tale of 2 quarterbacks. Connor Wagman, who looked really good through 4 games last year, looked rusty in his first game, and now he's questionable. If they come in with no quarterback, it's just going to be an ugly game. This is what this is going to be a 13-10 type of it's just going to be gross. And I think I'm kind of with Hannah. I don't want to pick a winner, but I kind of lean. I don't know. It's going to be ugly. I kind of lean Florida. If he lets Lagway go, I think Florida's got the edge.
Now, even if he allows DJ Lagway to play, I don't believe that Florida can handle Texas A&M up front. And their sheer desire and their want to. Texas A&M plays harder, plays with more effort on the football field than Florida does, because Elko demands that out of his team. And I'm not saying that Billy does not, but they haven't shown you that they're going to give you any effort. So everything even, both quarterbacks are playing bad. In terms of Graham, he is what he is, and Connor Wegman has not played well this year. Stats will show you. The wins and losses will tell you that the same. He's about blah, just like their team. They're even 1-1. So when it comes down to it, is what team is going to play the hardest on Saturday at 2:30 Central? I'm going to say A&M plays harder, and this is going to be Billy Napier's last game coaching Florida when he loses at home to Texas A&M. That they're both even, but the AD wants to see, what are you going to show me? What can you get out of these kids? Because if the players aren't playing hard for you, then you have lost your team, and you can't get that back. And I saw that Miami.
I want to make one quick comment. I agree with Smoke. I just want to say that the reason I'm picking Florida, I forgot to say, was because I saw a glimmer of hope in the team with how they played for Lagway. The players played for him. The players played with him. And that was a little bit of a breath of fresh air for them. And so I think if they choose to go with not Lagway, then they lose the game. He loses his job. If they go with Lagway, he keeps his job and they win the game. It's all about Lagway. I really believe that.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
Speaking of going hard, nobody's going harder tonight than Jimmy Clay. I don't know if he's got multiple cocktails in the hand, the beer going up, but Jimmy Clay.
Thank you, Jimmy. You're so sweet.
Look, Jimmy Clay. You're the man. Like, again, we're going to Sizzler tonight. All the soft serve on the dadgum house. With that said, man, also that nobody goes harder outside of Jimmy Clay than one company that likes to sponsor the Bama Standard Network, and that is Title Towel at whitwillsports.com. Look, if you're heading up to Madison tomorrow, or you're already there, you might be out of time, but you won't be for that next game against Georgia. Go to whitwillsports.com today and get your Title Towel so you can shake it and let them know you are the #1 Alabama fan. And if you use the promo code The Standard, you will get a discount. So check them out at whitwillsports.com today. Look, they are one of the biggest supporters of the show. We love you at Whitwill. Get that Title Towel today. And with that said, man, we have run. We can never stay on time. We have a bunch of ramblers, but we are about to go to the Degenerate Minute. And with that said, we got one more special guest coming in. Our man JT from Sunday Night Talking Bama. You see him all over the crowd with Roll Tide Willie. He makes all the videos for the show, and he has some crazy-ass parlays to give you, and I think some of them hit. JT, my man, what's up?
Hey, JT, before you start going, what is that hat?
Yes, sir. I wore this just for you, brother, because I see it behind you. Hey, listen, we'll go ahead and open it off, man. Great dub, man. I'm really hurt, man. I'm hurt, bro. Y'all got it, bro. I'm hurt, man. Y'all gonna have to win. I'm hurt, dog. Last night,
Mafia stand up.
I am too, because I dumbly went against the team that always beats the Dolphins because I love Tua too much.
My thing is, man, I'm one of the biggest Tua fans of all time, bro. Like, and it's just to see that, man, that hurt, brother. That hurt. Hey, I see you repping, bro. I had to rep mine. I knew you was gonna have that Bills on.
How do we turn that hurt into smiles with some good picks, JT?
So, something I was looking at, guys, for your fantasy real quick. A lot of people have been on Twitter. I've been seeing a lot of topics under fantasy, and a lot of it's been about running backs. A lot of people having issues with people they drafted. Here's a guy in 32% of leagues. He's only rostered in 32%. So that means over, 60-something%. This guy's available right here. Bucky Irvin, the Oregon running back from last year. Okay, listen, he's playing behind Rachaad White. Rachaad White had 15 carries. He had 9. He also had 3 targets out the backfield. The volume's kind of there. You got to watch those guys because if anything was to happen with White, you're looking at this guy being, the next guy up. And then also you got to think of it. You got to think of it like this too. If the head coach comes out and says they're going to roll with the hot hand, whoever has the hot hand is going to go. And he had the hot hand at one point, so they rolled with him. So I like him a lot. J.K. Dobbins going against Carolina. Carolina gave up 180 rushing yards last week, 83 of it to Alvin Kamara himself. Jamal Williams had a bit. They had 2 rushing touchdowns as well. You can expect J.K. Dobbins to probably run up and down on them. If you saw J.K. last week, he had 10 carries, 135 rushing yards. I see you, Smoke.
Smoke is just digging it in this whole time, man. I'm just steady digs.
I'm just saying we just don't beat.
He is, but I had to rep my boys, man. I've been a fan since I was a kid, so I had to rep them, bro. But it's no hate. I don't hate the Bills, man. I don't like the Patriots though, but yeah, man. So if you're looking at a guy, J.K. Dobbins next week is going to be a really guy to look at going against that Carolina defense. Also, if you look at him last week, yes, he only had 2 rushes. That was the bulk of his 135. There was 2 big carries, but that shows me the playmaking ability is still there. He also had 4 targets out the backfield, caught 3 of them. That's 3 to 4 points right there you're getting automatically, not counting what he's going to do after. So J.K. is somebody I would look at this week. And if you're looking for a quarterback, Daniels at Washington. This guy finished 3rd in fantasy points last week in standard leads. He is a beast with his legs, 66 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. He only had like $185 through the air. But if you're looking for quarterback and you want to win in fantasy, you want to start the rushing quarterback, the guy that gets you that rushing side. That's elite with it. Your Lamar Jacksons, your Anthony Richardson. He popped off this past week, man. So you're excited to see how it's going to be this week. On Prize Picks, they're giving away Caleb Williams for free, 0.5 passing yards. So that means he has to get 1 passing yard. I'd take that all day. Take the over.
You got any of your crazy parlays or prop? But you like the prop bets?
I do. I like going prop bets, and it just depends on how you want to look at it. Somebody I do like, again, I'm staying on that J.K. Dobbins train. Give me a touchdown for J.K. Dobbins. And on Prize Picks, that is called a demon pick, means it is a more high-valued pick, meaning that if you select that pick in your parlay, it's going to up that money, so because it's a tougher pick. But give me J.K. this week. Look, man, Jim, you know what he did at Michigan? What did he do at Michigan? He ran the ball. What's he did last week at the Chargers? They ran the ball. Like, they're going to run the ball. It's going to happen. Somebody's getting an end zone, and I'll take J.K. all day. Gus might be a guy you can look at a little snub because Gus does get some pizza in there, so you got to watch that. But give me J.K. on the parlay, and I would automatically put the Caleb Williams 0.5 in there too.
Nice.
JT, can I say one thing?
Yeah, what's up?
You got Nick Saban beating one thing. You know what that is?
What?
Using your hands to talk. It cracks me up.
Well, 3 plays.
You got the whole comments. All the comments are about your hands moving.
Hey, JT, send me an address. I got a real team that you need to support. All right.
Oh man, I'll send you my address, but and look, man, it ain't like that. But I was Miami kid, watched Dan Marino, Ace Ventura, I like the Dolphins then, rolled with them. And Tua, and then we got Tua and Waddle.
Hey, listen,
Mike McDaniel's great.
Hey, I love Mike, man. Love Mike, dude.
Hey, if you want to cheer for a winner, I'll send you some stuff. You don't have to walk around with that stuff on your head.
Hey, I'm a Josh Allen man. You send me all that Buffalo. I was Buffalo back in Jim Kelly.
Love Josh Allen.
With that said, Hannah.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, JT. You got some more?
No. I was going to talk about the hand thing. I just talk a lot with my hands. I do apologize.
I do too. But you put me to shame. That's all the reason I made you laugh.
Sorry.
All right.
No, it's not a bad thing. I was just, it's funny.
I've got a couple of picks from the Scott Manpelt Bad Beat segment that I was last week. So fade whatever the hell I tell you. But hot take Hannah, who has been on fire with a certain team, I think has a team or two she wants to pick real quick.
Okay, well, should we just go with Vanderbilt first? Because I don't think there's any way they lose to Georgia State or Georgia Southern on the road. Isn't it Georgia Southern they're playing, right? All of a sudden I'm blanking. Yes. No, it's Georgia State. Look at that. Yes. My team, like, if Vanderbilt had a fan that they needed to send swag to who believed them and no one else did, it would be me. Okay.
Say less. Send me your address. Well, you down the street. Send me your address.
All right, I will. But I'm over here like, I believed in them when no one else did. And now they look at them. They're going to be 3-0. They're going to have.
You still believe in them and I don't.
Yes. Okay. Now let's move on.
That, Hannah. Yeah.
Let's move on to the game that I think a lot of people are wanting to watch. Notre Dame, Purdue. I love it. I'm going with Purdue. Okay. Couple of reasons why. Do you know what Purdue and Iowa State have in common? Year after year after year, they're the teams that people underestimate, and they're the ones that create havoc all in the playoff contingency. Like, Iowa State is the team that wins games that knocks people out of playoff contingency, or what's the word? Not contingency. Is it contingency? Okay. I'm tired. Okay.
That one works.
Purdue has historically been a team that beats teams for the same thing. Notre Dame has shown that they're not invincible. Purdue, although they had a bye week last week and they've only played one game, I truly believe that you look at a guy like Ward, okay, which I don't even know his stats, but he is a huge quarterback. Not big, but like he's a good style quarterback. He is, I think, the player to watch tomorrow. If he has a game like he did week 1, which I believe he went for like over 250 yards and 4 touchdowns, there's a chance that Purdue not only wins the game, but wins it by a good margin. I have them winning by 7. You know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I have them winning. What did the sheet's in there. I think I had them winning 28. No, maybe it was 9.
Well, so basically,
17.
You're telling everybody if this is a pick save gambling, right now Purdue is +8 at home to Notre Dame. So Hannah's telling you to take that money line, which is probably going to be around +270, 300. Not a bad payday if you put a little change on Purdue to win it outright, and they pull the upset. And as you know,
I'll tell you this right here, Anna. If Purdue beats Notre Dame on Saturday, you have 2 coaches fired.
Yep, I agree. Yep.
And then Ole Miss is going to be fending off every damn team in college football with Lane Kiffin's name. That's great.
If that happens.
If that happens. Oh, it's already started with Florida. So, with that said, I was a Scott Van Pelt segment last week. I had the Ravens, who lost by a damn toe. I had I think the Rams, who went into overtime, hadn't given up a touchdown since half. The only way they could lose is if they gave up a walk-off touchdown, which they did. Also had Arkansas +7.5 going into overtime. You don't lose games by 8 in overtime. They did. So take all this with a grain of salt. I'm staying away from the marquee games, though. The 2 I liked, it was hard to find this week. There's 2 games that I really like. The first one, I do believe in this team. Cam Ward's, my boy Smoke, is been telling y'all he's the dude right now. Yes. Miami -36.5 over Ball State. I know that's a big line. I don't care. They're going to win it 52-3.
Put Cam Ward in for Heisman.
Ole Miss.
Yep, I agree with that, Smoke.
Ole Miss going on the road to Wake Forest. I'm telling you, this Ole Miss team, they're playing for business. They asked Jackson Dart what his thoughts were on the Heisman race and campaign. He said, my thoughts are on going 1-0 next week.
There you go.
This team that's got their focus in the right spot. They are going up there for business. They will smoke Wake Forest tomorrow night. If you want to take a flyer on another one, but a lot of people hate big lines, this is the last one. Tennessee -49.5 over Ball State. Not Ball State. They're playing Miami, one of the MAC teams. It's 40. I don't care. Tennessee's going to win 63 or 70-0. I know they've got Oklahoma next week, but it's not really going to matter. Their defensive line is the real deal. They're dominant guys. Tennessee is going to make some noise. So, guys, those are my picks. Smoke, did you want to add any? JT, anybody got last picks before we get out of here? Show love to other shows and follow us.
Bama, Wisconsin. Give me the 16. Give me the 16.
Oh, I don't think Wisconsin cover. I like Bama. I do like Bama to bounce back. I think USF was a better offensive team than Wisconsin, and I think this is a bad matchup for Wisconsin. And by the 4th quarter, I think Bama fans are going to be doing the jump around. So, with that said,
what was Smoke going to say?
What you got, Smoke?
I was saying I don't have. That's the only pick I have is I know that Hannah's picks are going to hit. That's it.
we know that hot take Hannah is going to nail her pick. So, guys, load up on Purdue and load up on them Commodores and go to the bed and then send Hannah your commission checks. With that said, we got a jam-packed weekend. As soon as that Bama-Wisconsin game blows the final whistle, be here on the Bama Standard for the post game. And then Sunday night, I'm going to let my man JT take over. What you got going Sunday night, my bud?
Sunday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, right here on the channel you guys are watching right now, guys. We are on live and direct, just like Smoke is giving them hand signals over here, baby. Throw them up one time for me. We live right here, baby. 7 p.m. Myself, my boy JB, Stephen M. Smith, and my man Marshall. And we're going to have a great night. We got a great stuff in store for the show, guys. And just real quick, I'm glad to be on this show, too, guys. And if you guys are new here, make sure y'all come by. Support this show on Monday nights, too, guys. They have great work, and this whole channel right here, man, is huge. Great shout out to everybody on this channel. Everybody works great, wonderful.
JT, yeah, we gotta get an opening on Friday night with you on it, man.
Okay, yeah. Let me whip something.
You're part of this thing now, buddy, on Friday nights with all this.
It is. Stuff. I just went in my bag. I went and got emotional and made a 2 edit, and Yeah, I got emotional. I sent it to Justin. I was like, Justin, you want to cry real quick?
With that said, also Monday night, come back with us. We got Tyler Siskey coming back. It's going to be a hell of a show Monday. Tyler always bringing the heat on stories. And we may have a big Georgia guest coming the next week that played ball at Georgia. So stay tuned with us. Mr. George Foster played offensive line for the Georgia Bulldogs and the Denver Broncos for 6 years. That's going to be a banger of a show. But definitely be with us on Monday and Friday nights. We got the gang. We got Miss Hannah, the firecracker, hot take, pick extraordinaire Stevens. We got Smoke giving all the X's and O's. And then on Friday night, we got our man JT. How can is there any? I think good Lord. I can't get out of here. Jimmy Clay.
Jimmy Clay.
About 50.
Jimmy Clay.
Yeah, I mean, do I need to come give a lap dance? What do I need? I like this type of money. I don't even know what to do for. I feel like I need a strip or something.
Hey, listen, I'm out of here with that.
I'm out. Bye.
Jimmy throwing that money now.
Jimmy Clay is
Jimmy throwing that money.
Screw Lane Kiffin. Screw Nick Saban. My hero's Jimmy Clay.
There you go.
Jimmy Clay.
Where?
Auburn got Jimmy Green.
We know we don't find you on Sunday. Where else can we find you, JT?
You can find me on TikTok, Roll Tide Nation, guys. Almost 170,000 followers. On Twitter, I'm at IMJGlaze. We're at almost 3K, guys, and you can find me here on Sunday nights.
Nice, Miss Hannah Stevens. Where all can we find you on the network?
Well, I need to actually use my TikTok, I guess, but you can find me on Instagram. Don't even worry about Instagram. You can find me on Twitter or X, whatever, at the UA Sign Girl. You can find me on Facebook as well. And yeah, I'm super excited for tomorrow. I'll say this. I actually like 11 a.m. games, not every week, but I like them because I can sleep in, get up, watch the game, and then still have an entire afternoon to get things done. I enjoy it. I feel like it makes my Saturdays much more productive. And I don't for church on Sundays.
Yeah, it depends for me. It depends for me.
So I'll close it out. You can find me on X and on Instagram at Coach GV Dixon. Hey, Hannah, I was with you early games when I was a player in college. Good, so you can have the rest of the day to hang out and really enjoy it. 3 o'clock once used to piss me off, even though it was prime time. Your days off, throw it off. Nighttime games stunk.
Yep.
The worst. Because you're getting back late. Everybody's already partying. When you get done, you can't even go to the after party. It just
I'm not going to say that. Yeah,
you still made it to the late night party.
The party only starts when you show up.
I was about to say.
I don't think there's a better way to end this. The party only starts until we show up and maybe smoke. But, hey, I'm Daniel Pettey. You can catch me here on Monday and Friday nights at 7 o'clock and then on Tuesday nights with the final whistle. And, look, man, I appreciate you guys coming out. Well, I guess we should rename this the Jimmy Clay Show because it's his show and we're just a part of it. And, guys, again, thank you. We got a jam-packed weekend. Roll Tide. Go all your best teams. I think we're mainly Roll Tide here. But so Roll Tide to your teams. But whoever out there, may your weekend be fruitful. And catch us out. Catch us on Saturday and Sunday, and we'll be back next week for some more football. So, guys.
Go Bills. Chop the fins.
Fins up, baby.
Roll Tide.
Hotty toddy and Roll Tide.
That's the bottom line. Why? Because Stone Cold said so.